What would you say the role of visual storytelling is in society?
Well, originally I believe it was probably just to um, tell lessons, morals, give some people like a broader view of like the consequences for their actions. Maybe they tell. I mean, it's been used forever from caveman to now. I mean, even
So this thing was used in caves, and now it's used in an iPhone ad in the
yeah,
street or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
and it's visual storytelling is very minimal, whether it be a hand holding up the new iPhone or like a full on like Gilgamesh like scribe, being told. But like I imagine that like before people would go to war, like you're being told about some guy that defeated 100 men, by himself or something like that. To, whatever to get the guys like pumped up. And
Or even when you think about like the Uncle Sam ad, I want you.
yeah,
That's visual storytelling, isn't it?
definitely. It's like your country is like it needs you or wants you to enlist, but it almost feels threatening a little bit. Maybe not back then, but now
Yeah.
more so now than anything. It's like, then we have such distaste for Uncle Sam, um, and he's been painted in a like very over time he's evolved into like this enemy, I suppose, of the public.
Well, it's interesting too how you can have societies throughout history valuing one thing, and then later on, the society doesn't value that. So what you have left is kind of like this timeline through art
Mm-hmm.
of like what people thought and
Mm-hmm.
believed
Yeah.
and what they wanted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, definitely. And things are being recycled. We're in this like recycle era of production where we're taking these symbols and these images and turning them into, or modernizing them, I think, at the end of the day.
yeah,
Now Uncle Sam is like a pothead and not this like flag bearing,
mm-hmm.
4th of July looking, white man. He's not just a white man. He's a high white man, now. And it's like, pot leaf, all 60s out, yeah, a lot of things. I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, but things are turning into memes, and we're recreating the meaning of these symbols and stuff like that.
So we're using art to reimagine past art and past messages
Mm-hmm.
and communication,
Yeah.
and just repurposing them in a different way now.
Yeah, which I don't think any of these things are inherently good or bad, but they can be used to erase the original meaning of something. Imagine if they like erased the original meaning of the Confederate flag somehow, and people or they just like revamped it somehow, maybe changed the colors. Like, what are you seeing a rainbow Confederate flag? Like what would people think?
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what to think. So,
I don't know. Yeah.
because it changes its whole meaning. Because
Yeah.
then everybody's like, well, what are you?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm gay and I'm proud and I love to be white. And that's an oxymoron, I suppose, but I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Well, you can use art to communicate and express who you are, what you believe.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it takes on art. It's not just a job of someone. It's like something so much bigger that it can contribute to.
Definitely, and a quote from Stan Lee, which was, with great power comes great responsibility. And which is true because art, visual storytelling can turn into propaganda, but propaganda isn't necessarily good or bad. But like, you know, it's always the art that motivates people to do whatever it is that they're being asked or called to do. And drawing a blank, but you know, that's just what it's been all through history. At the end of the day, you know, it's when a civilization is combed over due to time, when the next civilization building, you know, creates, they find what's the art that's like.
I mean, even what you see